Good morning. I'm Denise Dryden. I'm in Whitefish, Montana, sitting out in the middle of the woods, getting ready to talk to you today about autism, the kids on the spectrum, Asperger's, all sorts of different perspectives of kiddos that have some learning challenges and some behavioral changes that they're always making. So before we get going on that, I wanted to give the audience a few minutes to sort of check in, and I wanted to tell you a couple of things. I'm going to be on Periscope on Thursday. That's my new one. Rachel, my marketing director, and I are coming up with all sorts of fun things so I can start to get out there and start to talk to you about things that I've been learning. Some of you know that I've been in the therapeutic industry, since 1995, coaching young adults, coaching families, and then moved into admissions and worked with adolescents and families in assessment for clinical issues, sort of what happens when we have layered diagnoses and how do we come down to the primary one that we can treat first and then see what happens with all the rest. I've spent time in Salt Lake City in working for programs, in Bend, Oregon, working for a young adult program. So, and I also have some kids that have significant learning challenges. So the main reason I'm giving you that background is that about 20 years ago, 1995, 1996, I started putting kiddos into kindergarten, starting them on first, second, third grade. And I noticed that when we have children that don't learn the same way as other children or can't participate socially the same way as other children, there's this inability to understand what's going on. And so for those of you who are older parents or parents who've been sort of chipping away through academic, educational assessments, exploring medications, looking at behavior, what I wanted to do was take psychology, education, and sort of use those as a framework. And then, because I'm me and because this is what I do, I'm going to add the metaphysical and put a different perspective on it. So that's what we're going to do today. And so I wanted to give you a minute to get settled. Now, what we're going to do first is I'm going to do a closed eye exercise. Now, you might be driving, you might be in a room, and you might not want to do that. But this is going to be recorded so you can replay it on Facebook and go through that. So I picked a spot out here in the woods where it's nice and quiet. I've got a horse about 50 yards away, just snorting, and I've got a couple of baby fawns out in the back pasture. So and an airplane going over the top. So it's always going to be fun. So what we're going to do is for about 3 to 4 minutes, we're going to do a closed eye exercise. And hold on just a minute. Hey, Ted, the sprinkler just went off. Can you go turn that off for me? The sprinkler went on. Of course it did. Okay, so we're going to do a 3 to 4 minute closed eye exercise. And what I want you to do is find a chair. And this is an exercise I learned from Alan Seal in the Transformational Presence Leadership and Coaching workshops. And then I'm going to take it and expand it, of course. Okay, so get in your chair and get comfortable. Grab your tea if you have it. Close your eyes and sit back. And what I want you to do is feel the chair. Feel how the chair supports you. Let your back and your bottom and your legs just ease into the chair. And feel how your back and your shoulders can relax and your legs can feel supported on the ground, whether they're crossed, whatever you need to do to completely relax. Notice your breath going in and out. Notice how your lungs expand when you take a breath in and out. And you can feel your posture expand with your breath in and out. Now what I'd like you to do is notice where you feel the fabric of your clothes against your skin. Where are they touching your skin? Where are they not touching? Do they grip in any place? Can you feel an open space of relaxation around your clothes? Feel the air on the skin that has no clothing on it. Your neck, maybe your arms, depending on where you are. Notice the air and how it touches the skin. Now what we're going to do is listen. Listen to the voice of mine coming through the screen. Listen to your breath. Listen to any sounds you might hear in the room around you. The clicking of a clock. The sound of anybody moving around in the room next door. Expand your awareness to what's going on in the house or in the area around you. Can you hear movement? Can you hear settling in the building? What do you notice? Now expand that even further and go outside of the house. Outside of the room that you're in, outside of the building. What do you hear? What do you notice? Cars going by, birds, the breeze rustling the trees, sprinkler on next door. What do you notice? Now what we're going to do is we're going to start building a layer of all of those pieces that we've been working with. So sitting back in your chair, I want you to feel your ribs expanding and contracting with your breath. Feel your skin in the clothes. Feel the air on your skin. Notice the climate in the room. Hold your breath in your lungs and notice the sounds in the room and notice how your body feels in this room. So check in physically, auditorily. Now put your hands on your leg. And if you have pants on, feel the edges of that fabric. Or come up and grab the edge of your shirt and run your hand along so that you get some tactile. So now we're touching, we're hearing, we're breathing, and we're aware of all of these layers. Now what I'd like you to do is open your eyes and notice what you see. Look at the colors. Look at the light in the room. Breathing with your lungs, in and out, touching with your hands, and bringing all of those pieces together. So now, what is it like to hold on to 6 or 7 pieces all at once? Does it create anxiety in you? Does it relax you and put you fully in the present? Are you able to follow my conversation, or is it easier to disconnect and just focus on yourself? The reason that we're doing this exercise is that this is a really beautiful closed-eye meditation that brings in multidimensionality. So what multidimensional means is that we can be here in our third dimensional body. We can also expand and be aware of everything that impacts us: breathing, sound, sight. And we can keep expanding that and expanding that and expanding that. When we can hold several of these dimensions and senses at the same time, it can be very freeing for some, and it can be very anxiety and worrisome for others. So when we're talking about kiddos on the spectrum, when we're talking about autism, Asperger's, nonverbal learning disorder, low processing, we talk about kids who miss social cues. They don't know how to follow verbal instructions. We start identifying that maybe their executive functioning skill set isn't in the order that we need it to be in order to participate in school, especially in traditional classes. What if, as a multidimensional being, those are really, really difficult things to do? What if that's what autism, what if that is what spectrum and Asperger's is all about? Asperger's can be a really hyper-focus, single focus. And when we're in that breathing, or when we're in that place where time and space has disappeared and we're seeing everything in a quantum, multi-dimensional facet, and mom walks in and goes, by the way, you have a 5-minute warning to get in the car because we have to go to softball or baseball or soccer or dance or over to your parents, or I got to go to the grocery store and you're coming with me. You name it, any of those kind of rattling schedules that we have as parents, the kid kind of looks at you like, huh? It's going to take me a minute to get out of this multidimensional place and come in to form with you and then hear you and then really resist going back out into that expanded place. And you have to, as a parent, learn the tools of coming in and going, hey, what you doing? Tell me what you're up to. So what would it take if we sort of started winding this down and transitioned into something else? What do you need from me to do that? And what it takes is for us to be aware that on those layering of multidimensional pieces, of being able to hear sound, see sight, tactical, breathing, awareness of all of that. If we can do that as parents and become really conscious of our own personal awareness, then it gives us a place to meet a kiddo that is struggling with a multidimensional persona. They're a multidimensional being, and they're in a world that's really linear and moves really fast and doesn't really actually go in the direction that they're very much interested in. So part of looking at how to parent kids, teenagers, young adults, partners, how to partner with someone who has some spectrum-y sort of Asperger behavior by the psychology diagnosis, when we add the metaphysical and we come in and go, what if it's multidimensionality? What if it's physics, quantum physics in our human body, and our children know a lot more about how to coexist in the world than we do. And when we come in with our agenda, with our schedule, with our needs, it might not be the best thing for our children. So part of what we do know is that kids on the spectrum can't be overscheduled. They need a lot of time and space to go relax into that multidimensionality. And we have to be able to understand that as parents and create that for them. Create downtime, 2 and 3, 4 hours in the afternoon and evenings. Get down on their level and talk to them and explore with them if they'll let you. Become curious about where they love to explore, because what we know is that they have a lot going on, and in the spectrum of mild Asperger's to more extreme Asperger's, there can be so many multidimensional things going on that, yes, they can be very connected on a high functioning autism and then very disconnected from us as parents in the world. So how do we understand that if we come at it from a perspective of multidimensionality, they're like these little physics, quantum physics beings, and we have to understand them, and we have to do some learning. So I'm here to encourage you to do that. If you want to talk to me, you can always give me a call, drop me a note, message me here on Facebook. You can stop this or start this recording and play it anytime that you need to, and just sort of close your eyes and even play with it some more. Turn it off when I'm done with the expansion and see how many other things you can hold. And we'll talk about this more, because I'm going to bring the psychology, the education, the history together, and then I'm going to overlay it. And I had a client who explained it really well to me. She said it's like the sand in between all the rocks that kind of makes things hold together. So the metaphysical is going to take all of these pieces of knowledge that we know right now. And really it's just right now, because I've got a 26-year-old who we started with all of this at when he was 5. I've got 3 children, and all 3 of my children use different kinds of multidimensional awareness, and they're fascinating brains, and getting to know them has been wonderful. So thank you for joining me today. I'm going to be posting different concepts and ideas on this Facebook page and on my personal page as well. I'm going to be on Periscope on Thursday, and I would love to hear from you and find out if this is something that's interesting to you. So thank you for joining. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you next Sunday. And I don't know what the topic is going to be yet. Rachel and I'll talk about it on Monday. You take care. Bye-bye.